Now, the other central area or focus area is around resources. And so Construction PPM gives us the opportunity to bring all of the resources that are working on the various projects that you're managing and put them in one place. So whether they are full-time employees that are working for us and that we're managing on projects, or they are external vendors and contractors, general contractors, other resources that we are going to be working with, including material resources that we just simply manage, whether we own them outright, whether we're renting them, leasing them, or what have you. It's the ability to get all of the different resources that we will be managing on our projects and put them in one place, but also track very specific and useful information about them so that we can find them very easily. Now I am back at the homepage of Construction PPM. This is where we were earlier, but now I'm interested in looking at some resource information. Now, when it's time for me to actually build these resources into a particular project, I can then do that either from the browser, or I can open up Microsoft Project from the desktop and actually get these resources and pull them in. So I'll launch Project here. So now I've identified some plumbing contractors that would be eligible to be working on my project. So I can then go down, and let's say I was reviewing some of the tasks related to that particular contractor. You'll notice that as I scroll down here, you can see that there's different areas: masonry work, roofing, right, building finishes, elevators, and then I get down to the plumbing section of this particular template. So I'll go up to the resource area. I'm then looking to add resources, so I'll click on the Add Resources, Build Team from the Enterprise Resource Pool is what they call it. It's going to give me this dialog box that is showing me all of the what are known as generic resources that are currently loaded in this particular project. I'm going to scroll down, and what I'm looking for is the plumbing contractors that I have available to me. So notice that I have plumbing contractor management, and I also have the plumbing contractor. So instead of me filtering through and maybe even looking at a different location to find out who my plumbing contractors are, we have already captured that within the system. So I'm able to simply use this match option to then narrow the only eligible plumbing contractors because we have identified them as such. And we've already gone to look at these different resources to see whether or not they were eligible. So George looks like he's the plumbing contractor that I'm going to use on this particular project. So with George selected and the plumbing contractor highlighted on this side, I'm basically just going to replace the two. And notice there's 826 hours that has been assigned to this particular contractor. So there's George, just simply do a replace, and now George is in there, and they've replaced that generic resource, and you can see all of the hours have been associated to him. And then I can click OK. Let's talk about the team communication and collaboration component of the solution. So Construction PPM allows us to communicate those assignments down to the team members. It's also giving us a central repository for storing all documentation related to the project. We can also use very specific types of documents like RFIs and other useful construction project management documents that we make accessible on these different collaborative sites. Let's have a look. So each of the different projects, and as you can see here, I'm in a completely different project, same type of information that's being displayed here, the details and the financials and the status that we looked at earlier. But I also have this project site link, which is going to get me to the repository, that site that we are going to share with the team members. So that's where the project manager and the contract manager will be coordinating to let the team members know this is where you are going to go in order to find out what you should be working on, what you can be collaborating on with your fellow team members. The very first thing that you'll notice, and this is a project that just started off, so there's not a lot of content in there just yet, but there is some information that is already going to be provided in each of these different locations. And so as you can see here on the left-hand side, what you have are different locations like project discussions. This is a great place that you can allow the team members to be discussing different events and a lot of times solve their own problems by just getting areas out there like discussion items. Then you have punch lists, photo libraries that you can work with. There's an RFI library, so if I come into this particular library, this has been set up so that there are already templates available to the project manager as they work with these different documents. So for example, if I hit new here, you'll notice that there is an existing document called PPM RFI. In this particular case, if I click on that to launch it, it's going to take me into a template, in this case in Word Online, that's ready for me to just simply start filling out and storing in this particular location. So we're able to provide the project managers and the team members with these existing documents that they can work from. There's also areas in which we can manage issues, for example, and we can tie those back to projects. So if there's an issue that I need to raise, this is where I can come in and just simply create a new issue related to a particular, maybe an assignment that I'm working on, and I can track things like the due date. Now, each of these different locations that we're looking at here in terms of the libraries that we're using for storing documents, there is security behind them, so we can share only those things that we really need to share with certain individuals. There's also versioning that is already set up within these libraries, so every time a change is made to a particular document, a version is captured, and it forces the user to check out that document as they're working on it. So we let other individuals know that that document is being worked on. There's also alerts that can be set up by the team members and the contract managers and PMs so that they know when somebody is in there working on these different documents. You just get notified of those different events that are happening. There's also the ability to manage the deliverables and point them back to the deliverables within the project schedule. So you have these different deliverable libraries, for example, that you can work from.